episode 485 of the Super Ultra Podcast Arcade for March 29th, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Daniel Nicholson, and with me is my co-host, Dominic Stallworth. What's going on this week, Dominic?
Man, there's a lot going on this week. We even need to take a day off, but I know this podcast is going to be coming up late because I still didn't put up technically the last podcast. So, and that's a long one. Yeah, that's almost 4 hours because we had a lot to talk because we've been going for a while.
They'll be living in a post-Switch 2 world, Dominic. A lot of people listening to this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. The Switch 2 will already be like announced again.
So we gotta make a fake reaction. We gotta be like, oh man, can you believe they did that like thing with the USB-C cable? And then we gotta like splice them together for the right answers.
Yeah. So let me see if I can turn this.
Be like the Simpsons with the beer mug where it's like the Atlanta Falcons.
The Atlanta Falcons, yeah. But yeah, so a lot this week, so like I'm gonna quickly get through sports. Like, man, it's been really hectic. March Madness is in full swing. By the time you hear this, it probably will be the championship shit. But for the women's and the men's, like they're going through it. It's been fun watching these games. Unfortunate for Maryland fans. I mean, Maryland lost. I'm just happy they got to the second weekend. That's what I really wanted, honestly. Like I just want to finally just get out the first weekend. Get to the Sweet 16, have a shot, play Florida. We played great the first half. I mean, we didn't really play great, but the game was close. And the second half, Florida got their act together because they were turning the ball off like crazy. Like, they were really turning the ball over. But then second half, yeah, Florida got their act together. Maryland, I was a little sick, so I was kind of just dozing in and out watching it. But, yeah, it's unfortunate. But yeah, happy with the season. I really wish, darn, what's the kid name? Not Reese. Reese is a senior, so like he's gonna have to go. So hey, I'm glad he's still for 4 years. It was always been rumors like he was going to transfer, but like good for him. God dang it! Why am I forgetting names? Yeah, something that I'm getting old because it doesn't make this ridiculous.
Off on you, Dominic.
I've been saying this guy's name all fucking week. And then I'm like, oh, look, don't even remember his name. Maryland Benz. Oh, darn, I just saw it. Yeah, Derek Queen. Yes, Queen. People are saying he'll go into the draft, and I don't want him to. He's a freshman. He's from Baltimore.
Okay.
Like got a few guys from around the Baltimore area on the team or in Maryland. But man, I was like, oh man, don't go. I mean, I don't blame him because if he get picked up, which I think he definitely is. It's like, man, the money's there. It's like you go. But now with the nil, you get money now too. Now, men's is a little different, like you're talking about, I don't know how much you're getting paid in nil, but it's like NBA, you're going to get more, most likely. Now, with women's, that's where it's a change. Women's is, now there's a rule in women's, like you have to be a certain age to get to WNBA. Like they got it like 22. So, yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why that is. But
because we gotta have young, educated women first before they play sports, Dominic.
Yeah,
we kept education away from them for so long.
Exactly. I said, look, we're not going to have idiots like the men who always get in trouble. Get to our league. They're gonna be like women. They're gonna be truly women. Like they're grown and they have some experience or something. We're not gonna have like kids coming in making millions. Well, you're not gonna be making millions, but yeah. So, but still, the nil. Some people actually get paid more with nil than you would get going to the women's pros. So it's not really. There's a rule. Of course, there's a rule about 20. I think that'd be 22, and there's some other stipulations also. But it's like some of these people, they're famous enough, like they get paid a lot, so it's not a big deal to go Like you're not like, oh, I have to go pro now. Like you're getting paid a lot because WNBA, you don't get paid as much, even though they are getting paid a little bit more now. After they did that deal, but yeah, so yeah, I was just kind of hoping like Derek is like, yo, stay one more year, let's stay one more year, man. That's what I want, man. But and then it sounded like the coach might leave too, so that's what's unfortunate. Also, he might be leaving for some better. Well, I say better, but I mean greener pastures, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know because our AD left. The AD left Maryland, so I have no idea like what's going to go on because Maryland. It's like I'm gonna say, it's like Maryland is supposed to be like a top school, so like the only reason I think you're leaving is because either you have some problems there or something. Well, I don't know.
Or somebody will pay you more somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean they pay you more. Yeah, that too. But also, I also don't like how the NCAA, they have the student portal. I mean, I don't mind a student portal. Like students get them a chance to go to other places they want to go to. Thing is, it opens up while the tournament is going. So you got these coaches who are still in the tournament trying to do two things. And more than two things because they're coaches. They do a whole lot of shit. But you're trying to worry about, like, who's transferring. You're trying to convince people to come to your school or talk to players who might want to transfer who you're with. But you're also in a tournament. And it's like, why are you opening up while the tournament's still open? Why can't y'all just wait till the tournament's over to do that? Like, why make it this way? That because you got people asking coaches by there, like, hey, how you're like, what are you doing with the transfers and stuff like that? I'm like, dude, I say, wow, this is really professional. I mean, technically, we all know that this is kind of what it is. Has always been, but it's just, they try to like fake their way of making it like amateurs and stuff. But now we got to this point now. But I'm like, dude, that shouldn't be a thing while the tournament's on. I think that can wait till after, so people can just focus on that and worry about like what's right here, right now. But anyway, yeah, good luck to all those guys. Fun year. I mean, it made it a fun year, man, because I had no freaking NBA team. Wizards suck, and NBA basically sucks to me. So yeah. I'm like, it was pretty active football. Thank you for the Washington for at least getting me to the championship for that. Even though I didn't watch the Super Bowl because I was going to watch that mess. I mean, it's good. I guess if you like the what we call laws, but I don't care. Yeah, like so far, I'm like, hey, I had some good. Yeah, look, I had a good baseball year last year, going back to football, great football year, and I had a pretty good basketball. Year. Some disappointments. I wish we could have won the Big Ten championship, but oh well. And the girls, they freaking got to Sweet 16. I kind of thought they would, even though it was a close game, but they were on the verge of beating South Carolina, man. The defending champs, South Carolina. They was on the verge of beating. They had a chance. And thing is, I was talking about my sister how like, man, Maryland men's got a better shot at beating Florida than girls beating South Carolina. I mean, she agreed. I mean, most people would agree because like in girls, it seemed like women's. It's like more of a gap. It seemed like between the top teams in there than men's. But man, I didn't really watch South Carolina this year. I know they're not as good as before, but I still thought they were so much better than Maryland. And I think they are overall a better team than Maryland. But Maryland played their asses off. And they had a shot, man. I was so hoping, like, oh my God, can they do it? Please, Maryland. But they couldn't get it done. But good for them. And now we're in baseball. Orioles, as of right now, Orioles are 1-1. They destroyed Toronto in the first game. Also, you should know that Canada is now a state, so we did not have to hear the Canadian national anthem anymore. All they did was play the United States national anthem.
They didn't play the beautiful state's national anthem?
Nope. They actually did a ceremony of showing them destroying the flag, the Canadian flag, and then putting up the new flag with the extra star.
Very nice.
And then they didn't have another star, so it's actually 52 stars up there, but it's not really solid yet because they're still working on Greenland.
Right spot yet.
They're still working
just
on
kind
Greenland.
of floating around.
Yeah. Yeah, they're still working on Greenland. So then they're gonna color that in white. So we have 52 stars
Gotcha.
up there. It's like I'm just joking, but no. Yeah, Orioles like the first game, 6 home runs. Cedric Mullins had 2. I was so happy. He's our token black guy on the team. I'm like, yes, we got one black dude up here. He's still here. Hang in there, Cedric. It's like, hang in there until we can bring up that other dude who I don't know if he's black, but we got a young guy who's in triple. Well, actually, I don't know if he's triple A. He might be in double A or triple. Or maybe we're at triple A now. I'm not sure. I forgot his name. I know he's from Florida, but I'm not sure if he's is he descended from somebody from the islands or is he descended from slaves here? I'm not sure. But I mean, but I know he was born here because he has no strong accent or nothing. But anyway, yeah, like he's only black dude, so like I'll just root for him. But I root for the team though. And even without Gunnar Henderson, he's hurt, but he'll be playing later in a few games. Which we call it. Adley Rutschman had 2 home runs too. Then we got a new guy, O'Neill, who's on our team, who took the place of Santander, who we're actually playing against. He's on Toronto. He had a home run. He had some hits. He had a home run in 6 straight openers since he's been in the league. I mean, he hasn't only been in the league 6 years, but for the last 6 years, he's had a home run in the opening game of wherever he was at. And he's got one here. And it was like, wow, that's unbelievable. So it was a great day. The next day, we lost 8-2. But it wasn't bad. But the good thing is that Jackson Holiday got a home run, the young guy from last year. Even though he did play too many games last year, so he's not eligible to still be Rookie of the Year this year. But I just want improvement. That's what improvement with him. Yeah, and so far, he's been doing pretty good. He got hits in his few games. And I'm like, yeah, man, the O's, offensively, they looked okay. I mean, they only got 2 runs yesterday, which is fine. I mean, look, it's going to happen. Like someone says, like this is baseball. This is what we wanted. We wanted baseball to finally come. Like 2 days ago, you wanted this to come, and you knew this is going to come to. Like you're going to lose. Like come on, it's 162 games. Yeah, and like I'm just happy to have this. And long as the O's are competitive throughout this summer, it just makes things a whole lot easier. Like going, like just having something to watch or something like that. So, yep. So that's basically it for sports. Like just talking about local teams. I don't know what the Nats did. I know the Nats lost in the first game because my sister actually went to that game, and they actually came back on the Phils. It was a close, good pitching matchup, but then in extra innings, Phils came and beat them, and Bryce Harper got a home run, so he got a home run against his old team. And sister said there was a lot of Philly fans, and they were a-holes. I said, "Yep, that's Philly. That is Philly, man." I said, man, I didn't want to believe. Look, I defended Philly, and I didn't even know the place. I've been there, but I never really been there. Like, I went there to go to the Ben Franklin Museum. I ain't like I talked to Philly people from Philly. But I was like, fans are assholes everywhere, which is true. They are. Fans, fandom is crazy. But Philly fans, I mean, they really make it known, though. And that's like, man, that's like, y'all, I don't know. But overall, fans, there are crazy fans everywhere. But Philly, like, it's only down the street, man. 95. They're going to come down, and their team has been good for a while, so they definitely going to come out in droves. They're no different than, like, Philly is a big place. It's no different than, like, how New York is, really. Yeah. I mean, like, with their people, like, traveling just down here and stuff like that. All right, so what else we have? That's it for me. So, any wrestling news?
I guess the only thing I'll talk about real quick is just they made it official that they're doing the CM Punk versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns match. And also now they've made it official that it will be one of the main events. So either night 1 or night 2 closing the show. Most likely night 1. I mean, the Cody stuff is the A story in the company right now. and having him face God, now I'm just blanking on who Cody's even going to be wrestling. John Cena, Jesus Christ. Having him face heel John Cena is seems like a given. That will be, the top match of the weekend, even though it's pretty obvious John Cena is going to win. And do you really want to close WrestleMania out with, John Cena taking his ball and going home, as he's described himself doing? Yeah, because basically
like
laid
taking
out his,
what? Like the belt?
the championship. He effectively
Okay.
laid out his plan, which is win the title and retire with it and take it along with him. So he will be the last world champion in wrestling, basically, cementing his legacy, so that they'll have to then replace the belt with a new toy, as he called it, because he was very upset that when he came in with his greatest invention, the spinner title back in the day, that people mocked that. So
The
apparently
spinner was like wheels on a car.
yes,
spinning?
exactly. It was exactly that. The middle portion of the title actually had like a bit in it that would spin around, like one of those wheels on the cars back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of it, really. I don't know that there's much more to talk about with wrestling right now. It's really just the lead up to WrestleMania, and most of the storylines outside of like this Cody John Cena, and to a lesser extent Roman Reigns and CM Punk and Seth Rollins stuff isn't really all that good storyline wise. Like, I'm excited for the women's match with Bianca Belair versus Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley, which is most likely going to be what happens on Monday. It's going to be Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky for the championship, with Bianca Belair as the guest referee. And it just feels like that's going to be kind of all over the place, end up in some kind of wonky finish, and then they'll get the triple threat at WrestleMania. So it's a bit disappointing that will not get one of the main event spots, because those are all very fantastic wrestlers, all three of them. But we very quickly moved away from, okay, night one is going to be the women's world title main event and night two will be the men's. And it doesn't seem like they have any interest really in going back to that. I guess they just don't feel like they've got a storyline for them that is, worthy of that spot, which is really unfortunate. It's also really unfortunate that main event Jey Uso, who is competing for the Raw world title, will also not be in an actual main event at the end of the show. They'll still call all of these matches main events. They'll say it's a co-main event and whatnot, but the reality is, it's just not the case if it's not going all the way to the end of the show. Yeah, that's about it for wrestling.
Hold on.
Sure.
Because my thing, I guess, because I accidentally turned on my controller for DualSense and automatically made it the mic and everything.
Switch
so now
to that mic. Oh no.
I'm trying to remember what the how did I do this? So what did I have for output speakers?
Did you
Windows?
stop the recording?
No.
Okay. But
I'm not
Audacity's
gonna
still
stop it.
recording with that same mic, right?
Yeah, but
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Oh, you mean look up there? Okay, hold on.
Yeah, because as long as that's still recording from voice meter.
Well, I can't look at it right now. Oh no, but I wanted to switch it back now because I'm hearing something.
Okay, gotcha. That's probably. I would just check the Windows settings.
I know, but I'm saying what?
Okay, what was it? It
What was
was.
it called?
It should be voice meter input.
Aux input or
output.
just input?
Just regular input, because aux will then be under the B2.
Okay. All right, that's better. But technically my mic is under DualSense. I know because I know Audacity's still recording it anyway. But what was it? What would that have be? What would that be under?
In like the Windows settings?
Yeah.
Let me see what mine is. I'm not sure that matters too much, honestly.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right now, my input is set to voice meter output. But again, I'm not totally sure how much that actually matters.
Yeah, because my output, I mean, I have quite a few outputs now, because now that they do it like that. Okay, so it don't matter, because you can hear me, and Audacity
I can hear you, and as long as Audacity looks like it's still...
Yeah, still going. Yeah, so that's good. That's good.
Okay.
All right. So, so where are we at now?
What we've been watching.
So, have you been watching anything?
I started Venom, the second one, Let There Be Carnage, and
Venom! Say the Eminem song, Daniel.
Venom. Yes. I don't know. I got like 30, 40 minutes. I don't even know, to be honest with you. And it's not good. And it's like part of me wants to finish it just to be like, okay, I'm going to mark this off my list of things that I told myself at some point I might actually watch. And since I started it, I feel compelled to finish it. But I'm getting nothing out of this movie. So as of right now, I have stopped it and have not gone back, and I'm not sure that I'm going to. Because I was kind of interested to see Venom: The Last Dance, see if that was at all interesting, but I hadn't seen that second one yet, so I figured I'd do that.
Yeah,
first.
I still got to see the second one also. I think I have to see the first one again, honestly, because I don't remember nothing from that.
I just don't like, why Woody Harrelson? Like, he doesn't seem fitting for that role at all.
Yeah, I mean, like, no offense to him. I mean, like, if he was younger, maybe.
And that's the thing. At the beginning of the movie, they have a different guy playing him, but with a voice over, like, dubbed in voice of Woody Harrelson. And I'm like, why couldn't you just have this guy be that guy? Because he looks much more like
it almost
Carnage.
feels like somebody's friends with somebody, and it's like, hey, let's just put you. But then it's like, why do that? Why put him in such a huge role for, like, on a character that's...
Just give him executive producer credits and let him get some money off of it. He doesn't need to be the guy in the movie. Yeah, he's way too old. Because, like, you have the love story between Carnage and Shriek in there, and, like, she's a younger woman than he is, without a doubt. I mean, she's probably like maybe our age, maybe even younger. I don't know, but she's absolutely not Woody Harrelson's age. And if she is, God, she looks amazing for that age. But like, whatever. It's just, I don't know. And Tom Hardy could be doing so much better, right? Like, we've seen him in very good movies, and instead he's playing this weird, I don't know, just this weird dude.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's like Tom Hardy being Venom is like, okay. Like, if you tell me, like, when they said that initially, it's like, wow, great actor playing Venom. I was more upset with just that, there's no Spider-Man. And I was really upset with that, but I was like, yeah, that seemed to be a good movie. I mean, he's a great actor, but they didn't really give him anything to really do with, and it's like that's what it came down to. Is like Sony doesn't even give a shit. They just want to get as much money while they still have the property,
which is so wild. Because I also watched Across the Spider-Verse again because I was just decided to watch it.
I still have not seen that one yet.
But don't. I wouldn't recommend you do that right now, because it still sounds like it's like 2 years away from release. Like, I thought there was a date for this year that movie was coming out. And there's not.
Cliffhanger, right?
Yes.
That's what I don't like. I don't like when they It's like it's
I'm
one thing.
afraid
Yeah,
that
okay.
this third movie's not going to be good, and I'm going to be very sad about this series.
Like yeah, I don't know why. I feel like you don't have to do that. Like you don't have to like, or look, man, just put the money into just making two movies at the same time, and then
Exactly.
go with it.
Yeah. That's one thing. If you're doing it like when they like film things back to back, if you're just producing the entire movie at one time and you're like, okay, we're gonna release this at this point, we're gonna release this at this point. But like, no, they didn't do that. Then the writer's strike came up, and now we're like 5 years on or whatever, and I'm just worried. I'm worried that that movie is not gonna live up to the rest of this franchise.
Yeah, because even Star Wars is three. It's like 3 years. Well, like how it was. I mean, back in the day, it was 3 years between each movie.
Yeah.
I mean, see, and like you like, I always wanted the next Batman, like, cause I love the last one that came out, and that's taking a while. It's gonna be until next year, and I was like, I thought it was gonna be this year. I wanted it to be this year, but it's not a a cliffhanger ending or nothing. It's like
Right.
there's an ending, so I was like, okay, I mean, whatever. I mean, so I can wait, but like somewhere it ends in like, oh, I want to know what happens. I was like, oh, like you don't even know what's. It's like I don't even know what's going on with it, and then it's taking forever. It's just yeah, it's like what the hell. Okay, so here's what I mean, I still watching Daredevil. I'm still enjoying what I'm seeing so far. There was one really good episode. It did have some throwbacks to some other characters like Kamala Khan and well, she wasn't in there, but her father was at the bank. That was a really good episode, and there were two episodes this week. And now that I think about it, because this one, it doesn't really progress the story a lot, like the main story overall, but it was a good episode. So I can see why they did too with this one. And I'm thinking this is something that connects with the larger Marvel universe, because it has something in there that was like very questionable. I mean, like you question like what is it, and people are trying to decide what it is. But yeah, yeah, really liking the show. I'm also still watching the what's it called, the side effects, the common side effects. Yeah, and that show is still good, man. It's still good, and I'm thinking we're getting close to the end. The way things are going, or at least it better be. And I wonder if this is something that will continue, or will it like
be a short miniseries or whatever.
I kind of hope it. I kind of hope it does stop. I hope it has an ending, like because, like I said, like I'm at the point now. I guess because I'm learning my own mortality as I get older, and I know like I'm not going to be here forever, so I don't want things to keep continuing, and I have to wait. I don't know, and I'm not talking about just like dying old age. Of course, I'm too young to die, but I can just die, or I can just be too sick to do stuff, and I'm like, dude, I want an ending. like I want things to have a start and an ending.
Yeah.
All right. Have I watched anything else? I don't think I watched anything else. Nah. I guess we get to video games, and I'll keep going because you talked for a little bit. So, finally, EA has gotten NCAA football 25 on their EA Play, and so that is also can be played on Game Pass. And that's where I'm playing it. So on the cloud, since I don't have the new systems. But man, now the game is okay. Like it's okay for me. It's I haven't done every all the features and everything yet. There's still some features that I want them to implement into this. I still don't like when EA's been doing this for a while. This is why one of the reasons why I don't get mad anymore. They don't let you control. Well, also 2K does the same thing, but I think you can control more of your dynasty or season mode, or wherever it's called for that particular game. You can control more though in 2K though, and MLB, probably more than EA. You can control more, but there's still like I remember back in the day where you could just control everything. You could control other people's teams. You could just do anything because it's your. It's just like who cares? You're not
Yeah.
playing against anybody. It's your game. So in this, like you can edit players. Now I know MLB you can still do that. Now basketball I don't remember in 2K. MLB you can edit players. Be like, hey, I'm gonna make them suck or make them great. And it's like I want this guy to hit better or something like that. I'm gonna change his rating or something like that. I think the only thing you can't change is how they look. Like for known players. Now, if you get drafted players, you can change them. But in this, like, I can't change all the rules. I mean, like if you do like exhibition play or something, you can. But when I'm in my dynasty mode, this is single player, just me playing with Merlin. I cannot change all rules because like every time I do an RPO, which is run pass option, is where you have the option of either running or passing. Thing is, there's a rule in football where your man can't, if you're doing a pass, lineman cannot be down the field. That's the rule. Thing is, so I try to do a pass option. Thing is, your lineman don't know. Sometimes your lineman don't know or something. They may be doing a run block because you didn't really do the switch in time. You gotta be quick, and so he goes down. So I'm like, I'm going to turn this off. I said, because it's just, because I'm still learning the controls of this game. Because this game is not the same game I played like since 2014 or whatever. So I it won't let me do it. It's all grayed out. It's like, oh, like you can't even change when you're in a game. You can't even change your like level of play. Like you can't I'll say, oh no, this game is it's too easy. I'm gonna move up to varsity. Cause I had a freshman. I was like, man, I'm scoring too easy. I'm gonna move up to varsity. Can't do it. I gotta literally put the game and start the game as that. And I was like, why? Like I remember Madden did that like a few years ago when I played Madden, and I'm just hoping like they changed that because like this is stupid, and like I don't understand because I think there's still some things in here that I don't know because it can carry over I guess to online and they're trying to keep it fair or something. I don't know, but I'm like, dude, this is just my game. I'm just playing single player. I'm not doing anything else. And it's like the level of control now is ridiculous that they do this. And like it's like, come on, just let me play what I want to play. Cause like it's a big gap between freshman and varsity. And like, cause I'm still learning control, still learning to pass. Cause even I pick classic passing, I think even though it seems similar to what I used to play, it's still a little different. So I actually prefer their new version because I do like it. Like how you can make it so it slow down to the receiver and you can point the ball, but it's still putting like if you're not that great, or like you're not a great quarterback, you might be a little off, and then your receiver, it all depends how good your receiver is also. So it's still got those factors in there, but it makes it a little more. It's different and it's a little more fun for me. And I was like, oh, cool. But like doing it on freshman, like first I was having trouble because I was new, but then I started getting go. It's like okay, let me put on varsity, and just like it like ramped up into something. Like I was like okay, when I played a game like that, and I gave lost the game. It was a close game, but a loss. But I was like, because I like to do things change up. It's like okay, I'm gonna like put on varsity if I'm losing by like 3 touchdowns. I'll put on freshman and see can I come back or something like that. And I used to do that back in the day. Can't do that no more because I can't change it. So I just it's like I don't understand it. I don't understand why they do that, and they don't give an option of saying like, okay, so look, don't give me no points for Madden or whatever you got here because I don't even know what I'm getting. I don't know what I'm getting in this game. These that I'm playing right now, like in the dynasty mode, that I can't even use for online. So I'm like, can you just? Because I'm not doing anything with that. Can you just have it where, hey, dynasty mode that is totally offline, like totally offline, and that I can just do anything. And because I was playing offline at first because I couldn't sign into your account when I first started, but it still was the same. I was thinking like, oh, I probably can just control everything now. No, You can't. And so I was like, this sucks. But other than that, like gameplay wise, like some of the changes because I haven't played this game in a while and I haven't played Madden in a while. And when I played Madden, I wasn't really big on it. Like I just played through a season and that was it. I didn't really get too deep on it, but I mean, I'm having a good time with it. I do like it. I do prefer like the college life stuff up here. I mean, compared to pros, they don't have all the features they used to have. So hopefully they'll bring some things back, like where they now they do have it where they say, oh look, I mean they have it where you can look at if you broke a record for your school or whatever. But I didn't see them. Maybe they do. I probably just like sometimes you miss things because sometimes I fast forward in the game to like sometimes I don't play defense and I get back on offense, like because they announced that I did break the record. Because in old games you used to announce like, hey, he broke the school record for touchdowns, and I didn't hear that announcement in the game. I mean a lot of the stuff features they have. I'm trying to think. Like some of the features back in the day, this wasn't a big deal. I remember they used to do these like, oh, you got to do well in school, so you got to do these tests or something. But I didn't do my player mode, so the my player mode in here. So I don't know if they have. I don't think they have that though. It's I mean, it's all right. Like this is a good, I guess, first step. I mean, I don't like using that as an excuse because I'm like, you have history with this game. You know what's been there. You know what's hold on. Yeah, I kind of dropped out my internet. You still there?
Yeah. Yeah, you only dropped out for a second for me. I got you back.
Okay. Yeah, it's I mean, you had this game before. You can go by what you did and you know what you can do. So it's like people saying like, oh, this is a first time comeback. Say, whatever. I said no. The only reason they took a break is because of the whole paying the kids stuff. So it's not like whatever. It's like they know what they can do. But yeah, I hope they add a lot of more features into it and give me feature of control. Just give me control. The level up system of the coaches, I think it's pretty cool. No, they give me control on that. They give me control how much, like, hey, you want to get a lot more XP for your coach? So I found that weird. I was thinking, like, oh, you can make it easier for me to get XP, coach, but you can't make it easy for during the game if I can just change the rules. Like, I'm almost thinking, like, is there a real reason for this? Or this is like a sense of laziness of, like, they're just keeping the feature that they have. That type of feature of not allowing you to change things in the game is for everything. Because like online, of course, you're not gonna be able to do that. And when you're trying to get like those cards or something like that, ultimate cards, they're not gonna make it so you make it easy, easier for you to get those cards. And they just left it the same for everywhere. I wonder if that's the case. Like just them being lazy and not saying like, oh, we're gonna unlock this so here they can just do whatever the fuck they want. I don't know, but that's the only thing that sucks really about the game. But I mean, since baseball is about to be gone, because I'm not gonna get the other game. I don't have, like I said, I don't have the new systems. They still haven't put that shit on PC, and they don't have it available, so I can just buy it and play it on the cloud for Xbox. So I'm not gonna have baseball anymore, which sucks. I thank God they have this. This is gonna be the game I'm probably playing. And look, my friend is playing it too, because you got him on your friends list, Base Warlord. Because like when I was starting, I saw him up there too. Now I don't know, he could have fell asleep and just had his system on. But he should be playing late too, because I saw him playing. I said, damn, he like me, just playing, just playing the shit out of this game. Yeah, because I lost track of time. I was up all night, and like I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I've been doing this. It's like I haven't done something like this like since I started playing baseball. Really, when a baseball game, because sometimes I'll be saying with baseball, because those games won't be quicker though, and I'll be like, I do one more game, and I'm going through half a damn season, and because I fast forward. I mean, because I don't play the full 9 innings. I sometimes I simulate to see how the team doing. If they're losing, I'll see. I'll try to come back or something like that. But yeah, having fun with this game so far. And yeah, I'll talk more about it when I learn other things in this game. Like I said, defense. I always set the defense in bad and stuff. Like the only time I really played defense in NCAA was back when they used to have these things called pennants, where they give you special abilities. So I used to use the pennant where it's like, oh, I can just like go bust through the line and just get sacks and shit like that. And yeah, I used to do all that shit. And that's when, and I also made it easier for me. So like I make it so like, oh, they suck. Like, yeah, now you can do sliders in this game. You can't do them, like I said, you can't do it while you're playing the game. For the game, I made a slider. So I was like, okay, I'll play on varsity, but I make their defensive back suck and whatever. So I can have an easier time passing the ball. I still having a hard time getting the ball to them. Like it's I'm sure it's easier. I'm sure it's easier. So people know how to play game is like, this is too easy, man. I'm not for me. It isn't, and it sucks. And it's like, damn, why can't they just let me do shit? I don't know, man. Whatever. All right. So what else have I played? I also played some more Dragon Age. I'm finally past the point where I was originally before my hard drives went up. So I'm happy for that. I can say this: Tosh, the Canary in the game, her storyline sucks. I finished it, thank you, Jesus. And actually, I think there's still one cut. I still haven't done that cutscene where the lady doing push-ups because she said the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And I guess that's one of her last cutscenes then. So, but that like her overall arc, and like I was actually reading an article of a former writer from BioWare who said like the overall game, like they think it was pretty good, and like as far as gameplay, the look of it and stuff, but they feel like the story. They're a former writer, and they say the story, it's too well. She thinks the story is too hands only because like when you make choices, and like I never really read them on the side. I read it like a few times, like on the side something to say like, hey, this person remembers this, and it's like, come on, man, this ain't Telltale. Like this, y'all don't do that. Y'all don't tell us they remember something. You just do. Or if you don't ever remember, then whatever. If you don't remember as a player, that's whatever. But like, yeah, but it's some simple things. It's something that's not really a big deal on certain things, or something that you're really just thinking the player don't know. So it's almost like, is your story that bad that you think we're just not going to remember something like this? And then she said even like the characters, the way they like with Tosh, like she said like this comes off too preachy with the whole thing, and like there's a way to do it. There's a way to put something in there to describe something, but you oh, my sister might be coming in. I think that's her. But I think that there's a way to do it, but they did it. But like I said, like well, she didn't say this, but the other person, and I said this before the last podcast, that they use terms that are, oh, it's not her, thank God. They use terms that are too modern, and that doesn't fit in this game. Right. And especially if you're a person who's played through all the games, the way they talk in this, it talks like, yeah, it doesn't feel natural, because like this is not how they usually talk in Dragon Age, and everything's very Marvel-y, like Marvel movies, and very lighthearted and trying to be funny. And I'm like, I mean, I don't mind you trying to be funny, but they did jokes in these other games too, and it just didn't come off like this. That they always do the same type of jokes, like the same kind of jokes of like you saying, "Oh, well, that happened." They're like it's like, oh, come on, man. And it's like that they don't do this in this type of game. It's like you gotta, I don't know. Yeah, and then I'm sorry, it just sounds so weird hearing the term non-binary come out of like a fantasy world. Like it's this weird that you would say that. Like you say, I'm non-binary. Like, and then you giving your character, then the character I play has no choice.
Back
like
in those days, like, that was just normal.
Yeah. I wouldn't say normal, but it was. You didn't have a term for it, and then it all depends. And look, in the fantasy world, look, you can make it so that like, hey, these people just are like that, even though the Canary are not.
Yeah,
You
we've
already
given up
established.
on the metaphor and we're just saying the thing out loud now is what it
Yeah,
is, right? It's like there's no subtlety, there's no subtext. We're just slapping people over the face, and maybe that's why it feels so egregious to some people, you know?
yeah, it feels egregious to them, and while for me, it just feels just not natural. It doesn't feel
Yeah,
real.
out of character, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
Or
feel
out of
real because
character of the world, that is.
real. Yeah, other and like because you already established like she's a Canary. You already established that these people are very conservative type of people, and I'm not talking about like conservative like oh they don't like gays. And I don't know actually about their sexual stuff. They didn't go into that. I'm talking
Right.
about like just their who they are, like
Yeah.
how they talk and stuff. Now it's almost like they try to do that with her with the way she talks, but then she just says some things that just it's just weird. I mean, it comes off weird. It comes off weird, like just the way she talked. Like one time, I think somebody was calling him like he said, "I'm the Dragon King," and then throughout the game, like while you running like through the stage or whatever, trying to get to him to fight him, she's up there yelling. Said she always keeps saying that it's so stupid. He called himself that's a stupid name. He keep calling himself the Dragon Queen. And I guess that's supposed to be like a funny thing, and then she keeps saying it. And then she said like she can't be a Dragon King. You only could be a Dragon Queen or something. And I was like, what? I don't. Is this supposed to be a joke? It's like what is this? It's like I don't know, man. Yeah, it's like this game. I mean, I'm amazed. Like as far as gameplay, it's okay. Like the action, like even though the best thing right now, and I think other people said it is the mage. I never played as a warrior. I play as a rogue, but the mage is definitely better than the rogue, and I can imagine the warrior is probably not far off from a rogue. I mean, but it's probably just more, heavy-handed on the sword play and whatever instead of like dodging. But you but yeah, man. I mean, like in the world looks all right. I mean, the art style is whatever. I mean, I understand. I get it. People who don't like the art style, I get it. But I'm used to it. But the characters themselves, like every character, they are not written that well. Some of the performances, I would say, for the I forgot her the mage woman with the one leg. She has like some peg like gold peg leg thing.
Okay.
Like she could be so much better, but the performance of her is very stale. Tosh now Tosh she comes all stale, but it also becomes like she's talking like very modern, and it's just all messed up. Now, Canary being stale is a thing because that's how they talk. They just where they are. Now, Bull from the last game, that was an anomaly. Like Freddie Prince Jr. talked for him,
Yeah.
and like he was Bull was like a like people were I remember people were being upset initially, and I just find it weird because Canary are not like that. He's all just talking like a normal human and stuff like that and blah blah blah, and then I just realized okay he's an anomaly. Like okay other Canary are not like him, and it's like yeah because the Canary you had in the first game was definitely not like him. So I said, okay, I can get with that. I can get what you saying, like he's just different. But now you got Tosh, who is kind of like in between almost him and that. And then you see some regular Canary in the society who are just normal. Just like, oh, thank you. So I was like, y'all just mess up the world. It's like, y'all just making that all species are just, can be just normal, like a normal way. Where it's like, there was a definite difference between people. And thing is, you know what? I was wondering. I think the elves are still slightly shorter than humans, but they don't seem to appear that way though. A lot as much as the other games. Like they really make distinction. Like, yeah, elves they're a little smaller than humans, like normal humans. Whatever. Because they're mostly rogues and mages. Though I'm trying to think. In this game, they didn't let you be a warrior. Because I think the other games, they didn't let you be a warrior if you're an elf. It makes sense. Like, you weren't big.
Yeah.
So like you're a rogue, but I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, this game it really takes a lot of liberties with the whole story. I think they just, which it just makes it like it's almost you trying to change for to be like, hey, to more appeal to like a modern audience, but it's like the modern audience. I mean, they already had liked the game, even those the people who I think all the stuff you have this game is for, they liked the game. Like the game was still progressive. I mean, they had gay people in here. I mean, all the fantasy shows we watch now have gay people. And I mean, or like it's. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's funny. Like saying, "Oh, you're saying breast is just gay." Well, mostly with that world, it is because everything was mostly just, just man, woman, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, but they have warrior women, like soldiers were women and stuff like that, and blah blah blah. They have societies where like, oh, and they also made it where like, oh, some societies don't allow that stuff, and yeah, because it's realistic. It's like, okay, yeah. Okay, I get it. Like, there's different laws and stuff in different parts of the world and things of that nature. So they had that in that game. That's how the fantasy worlds work. I don't know. Yeah, it's like they just went. I don't know, like why they made the decision. And I mean, it's unfortunate. And I'm definitely not one of those guys who are like, oh, I'm happy they're losing money or they got rid of the people, some people or stuff like that. Like, no. Yeah. I mean, overall, I think the game is a decent game. Like, it's a well-made game. Like, as a game, I just think the choice of story was not really good for this game. It was. I mean, the choice of like how they went about the story. The overall story is fine. I like it. But the whole dialogue, the script, I don't know why they chose this, and it's yeah. That's the big problem with this game. All right. So what else have I played? I've been playing a lot of Phoenix Wright. I finished the Apollo Justice one, so now I'm on the DS one, and I could definitely see the difference in graphics. Yeah. Because they didn't really touch it up like they did the Apollo one, where they kind of just redid it all. They just drew it again. Yeah. They basically just drew it again and to look nice. And I was kind of hoping they did that with the DS ones, but no, they kind of just, I guess. Maybe they did some anti-aliasing, whatever, with it, and because it's still, I guess they didn't want to do all those animations. I guess they didn't want to do all those animations again with it, because the animations weren't that much for the Apollo one, right? It's just like the Phoenix Front, yeah. So in this one, there was a lot more animation in DS one, so they were like, we're not going to change it up that much. But I was like, dude, you can put some work into it. Come on, man. But actually, I didn't realize these games were that popular to even be remade, to be honest with you. I honestly did not think so, and I mean, I'm glad for that. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I could be like, well, I should be happy I just got it. But no, Daniel. I demand greatness. So, I think they should have done more work. But other than that, the Power Justice one, yeah, it was fun doing that. And I was actually doing it. I did a lot of it without looking up, and it wasn't because I remembered either. Like, I might remember who did it, but I didn't remember what evidence to use. And sometimes it gets crazy with that shit. Because it's like, I give something that, hey, the evidence is in here too, but that's not what you want. It only can be one thing. Which that's why I wish, like, in the future games, they have something where, hey, you can probably use multiple evidence to prove a point, or it's not a linear story. Like, the overall story is linear, but it's not linear how you get to solve the case, like the court case. Like, that's how I wish in the future ones. Like, you could go by a different way, because like in these games, it's only one way you can go with how the court case goes. But I wish there was a way like, hey, instead of this, I had showed this evidence, and I went this route and to prove this person's innocent. And whatever. So yeah, I hope they do that. I mean, it's more, but darn, I mean, you can do it. Yeah. And what else have I played? What else have I played? I can't remember. I played a little bit of VoW, not much. Like I said, it's kind of hard to grab me with that. Actually, no, I didn't play. No, yeah. Yeah, I did. I played a little bit more. I played something else, man. I played a little bit more Monster Train. I also played. What else have I played? Um, you ain't see shit pop up on your phone up for like achievements?
No, I
Cause
actually haven't been getting that stuff recently. It's been weird.
Oh, okay. Because I know I did something that I got a lot of achievements for. It probably was Monster. Maybe it was Monster Train. Uh, damn. I know Anifall came out, but I didn't download that. I didn't see the reviews weren't super great, so I was like, nah, I ain't gonna bother right now. Yeah, I'm kind of winging this because I didn't write this stuff down. I think I felt like I played something else. That was oh yeah, Suicide Squad. I played quite a bit of Suicide Squad one day. Like one night, I just jumped on and played. Like I do like that. I like that. Okay, so because I was thinking that you were just going to be if you're by yourself, you're just that one character by yourself,
Right.
and you might be talking to other people through your mic or something. Like when the cutscene, well, not cutscenes, but you know how they talk. The story goes while you're moving around the world. But no, the other people are always with you, and you can switch. You can switch to them. Like you can hit this button to switch to be that character. So it's like okay, that's a good feature. That's cool. But yeah, it's one of those worlds with a whole bunch of stuff, and you can do extra stuff and level up. I just got to the point where I can unlock grenades. Because at one point they were saying, like, hey, you get bonus if you... Because they got a system where, like, you know, challenges saying, like, hey, get this and you can level up or something like that. Like, do something with grenades. I killed this many enemies with grenades. And I was like, I don't have a grenade. Not let me throw grenades right now. I remember in the tutorial, they told me thought that was a bug. And because technically I am using cheats in this, so I was like, oh shit, I messed up the game. But then I realized, oh no, I didn't get that far yet. And the Riddler challenges, they got Riddler challenges in here,
Of course.
and they do have where you do collect some trophies, which I did not when I was pissed off. But they do have real riddles, and I was like, yeah, this is neat. I like this, even though I'm having a hard time figuring out some of them. Because they'll say you're in the area, but I don't know how big the area is. I'm thinking like, oh, if they're showing it, that means I'm looking at it. Like my screen is looking at it, so it must be around here. No, it doesn't mean that because I was not looking at it, but it was. And like I said, I don't know how big the area they're telling me is in, but I was just rolling around and I saw because it said something about LexCorp. Something about LexCorp in a bank. Like I forgot what the word was, but then I saw something because I kept looking around the bank, and I was like, "What am I supposed to take a picture? Well, not a picture, but whatever scan of. I don't know what the fuck this is." And but then I saw something with Lex Bank, and I said, "Oh," but that was like I wasn't never even looking at that way. And if I was, it was a building in the way, so I didn't even know that was there. Like I had to go on the ground. I was up in the air, so I was like, "Oh, there it is," and then I got it. But I do like that. I do like the actual riddles. The whole trophy thing is like, come on, get the fuck out of here. Why be I collect trophies or something like that? It should be just the riddles.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't listen to nobody. They listen to nobody bitching about that shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Nah, I mean, you know what the exec price said? Nah, you got to put as much things in there for them to shit in the world to do, so they can always keep playing. They can always keep playing it. Yeah, the best character is Deadshot as far as transversal.
Okay.
Because he got a jetpack, and I mean, it doesn't stay all throughout, but it's just easier to manage. While King Shark, you gotta kind of charge up to jump forward really far. What's her name? Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
You gotta use the battle, like the bat grappler or something, but you gotta wait, like, and you can do something with the swinging around where you use the drone, but then the drone sometimes has to charge up, so you can't keep going. And then the hardest one to transverse with was Boomerang with the whole flash speeding thing. Like I'm somewhat used to it, but not really. It's really like I don't really like it that much. And the thing is with the cheats, the only thing they have is that with the jetpack is infinite. They have an infinite jetpack. that makes it a whole lot easier. So it's like, darn, I do want to play with the other characters because these guys say different things. Because like when I'm solving the Riddler trophies, Deadshot is stalking us. I'm like, oh man, that means everybody has something to say, and I give it to them. They did a lot with us for is like the banter is funny to me. Like the banter is funny. Like I said.
So it's actually like well written and enjoyable though.
Yeah, because I like the YouTube. Like I was watching the YouTube, just the movies and stuff like that. They were all right. They were pretty good. Like I overall I liked it. There was some cringy stuff, like cringy Marvel kind of comedy. But like other than that, I mean, it's like overall this was well written, done. As far as script and everything, yeah, it was well done. But gameplay wise, I feel this is not what I really wanted. I didn't want this. Now I'm just trying to think like what could they have done with the Suicide Squad to make it better? But I mean, I don't know. I mean, just can you at least do what Infamous did or something? Maybe. Or do what you did in the Batman games. I mean, it's just that. Yeah, do what you did in Batman games. It's just that you're using their abilities and you're not using guns. You know, you do a fighting system. You do that and whatever. Or they could have implemented their what's it called? Revenge system. What is it? Nemesis system? I say revenge system. Nemesis system, and have it where you like they have bosses like Brainiac bosses or like people Brainiac controlled. They'd be like, hey. This villain is controlled by Brainiac, this old villain, and then you fight him and his Brainiac minions, and then have them come up again, like beat up, like oh no, it's Kite Man again. And say, oh no, he's kind of beat up and something like that, and like he's come back, he's pissed off that we messed up his kites before or something like that. Yeah, see, they could have done a lot. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I was making sure. Yeah, they could. Yeah. Wow, man, what the fuck, man? The game, yeah, man. This is game industry, all industries, man. This is this greed and man, this is horrible. Yeah, that's all I can really remember playing. I mean, if I think of while we're doing the podcast, I'll go through it. All right.
What about Mullet Mad Jack? Did you play any more of that since last time?
That was awesome. That game is awesome. That game is awesome. Like, okay, this is a game apparently that came out last year, which I never even heard of, and you probably have mentioned it, and I probably just like because of so many games you just mentioned that just it's like whatever. But this is actually a fun game, which I'm surprised that nobody had it on their top 10 or something somewhere, or just mentioned like honorable mention. I mean, the internet's huge. Maybe somebody has. But at least in the main ones I've looked, I have not seen nothing about this game. What you do, it's a roguelike game where I feel like I talked about this a bit last time.
You did talk a little bit about it.
You just asked. Oh, yeah. So I did get further. Yes, I did get further this, because that's where I got a lot of achievements from. I actually got to the next, because I don't know if this for each stage, but I had to go through 10 levels, I fought a boss, and now I'm on another stage. Maybe that's the setup. I'm assuming that you go through 10 and then you fight a boss. So I did that. I fought a boss, and so now I know stage. So now when I die, I don't have to start from the very beginning. I have to start from that beginning section. So yeah, I finally like got kind of used to the controls because I was kind of not sliding all the way, and it was kind of like slowing me down a bit and kind of avoiding area, because now I realize, the yellow stuff is hurting me, so that's why I'm dying pretty fast when I'm just running. I shouldn't be like getting away from that. But yeah, man, that game gets so addictive. Like you just get so in it, like in the zone, just killing things real fast. Like busting up, kicking them through the freaking duck, like the fan duck or whatever, and killing people. And yeah, man, and it's funny. The woman be saying things, and they actually voice acted, so that's what's really good. Because I'm like, you damn sure can't read while you're playing, because it's like, what the fuck? I'm just going so fast. But yeah, it's fun. Yeah, Bully Jack, fun game. Really like it.
Nice.
And yeah, so what have you played, man?
I played a little bit of Little Gator Game. That's leaving Game Pass soon, actually.
That's right, I did see that. Yeah.
That's a game that I've heard people talk about pretty good, and it just looked like a nice kind of simple thing. And my daughter played most of it. I've actually outsourced my
That's what I was going to ask.
what games I've been playing. I played a decent amount of it, but she took over it at a certain point. But yeah, it's very simplistic. You're basically this little gator who's trying to get his older sister to play with him, and basically play like a Zelda game. Like he wants to be Link and she's doing grown-up work for college or whatever. So him and his friends have created this scenario around this island to effectively convince her that she needs to be playing with him. So initially you're going through with his friends.
Wait a minute, the gator is a girl that's on the front?
Gator is a boy, I think. The gator is gender neutral. You can name the gator whatever you want, and they kind of refer to them as a them, I think, honestly. Because you can give them a male or a female name. Although I think he is shirtless on the cover, so we're gonna say canonically he's a boy.
Because girls because they can't see the gator's breast. I don't know if gators even have. Gators don't have breasts. They don't have milk. They don't make milk.
All right then. No gator nipple. I think it's all right then. I'll approve.
Yeah. Reptiles. I don't even think they take care of the young. They'll take care of the eggs after they hatch,
and then abandon them.
Yeah, eventually.
That's what makes them so tough.
I mean, some of them stay a bit, but then it's like the young better not stay too long because then the adults be like, "Oh, I'm hungry."
All right.
The animal world is cruel, Daniel. It is cruel.
So initially on the island, you're helping out your friends either by knocking down these cardboard cutouts of enemies or doing some light platforming kind of stuff and collecting stuff to then get like your green hat and your fake sword that's a stick and your shield that's something I can't remember, trash can lid or something. And then after you do that, they open you up to this larger island that has more friends because you're going to do this like grander kind of adventure to continue to try and convince your sister to do this stuff. It's very lighthearted. It's a nice art style. It's very like flat shaded. The controls feel good. They're very simplistic though. There's jump hit. There is eventually like a glide. You get a shirt that turns into a glider. But yeah, it seems very simplistic. Probably pretty short if it were me playing the majority of it.
So your daughter, she could play this game?
Yeah, she can mostly play it. The biggest problem with it compared to a game like the Bluey or the Paw Patrol game is it's not voice acted at all.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm not playing with her actively reading the stuff for her, then she might have a little more trouble, like seeking out the actual goal of what she's trying to do to help out a friend.
God damn, Daniel, you're a failure. You have not teach your girl to read. God damn it.
No, not yet. Yeah, so that's a pretty good game. I'm hoping to finish it before it goes off Game Pass. Even if, most of these things leave Game Pass and immediately show up on the PlayStation thing, but there's progress there to be had. So. Although I will say the Xbox controller, as far as like a game where you're going to use the analog stick, it works a whole lot better for her because she doesn't have to reach all the way across the controller to reach that bottom stick for the left for the main controls, because she's still not really using the camera much at all. So that's definitely a better controller for her.
You need to shame her. When she can't read something, you shame her. That's how you get her to read.
There's a story of my brother-in-law who apparently decided he learned how to read because he wanted to play computer games and his sisters would no longer, read to him. So he eventually just had to figure out how to read himself.
And he was 22.
So that could be her future, Dominic.
So,
I did figure out why my Xbox controller wasn't working. What it turned out to be was it was like in mouse mode. And you can change that in the Steam settings through a couple of things. I found a very useful tutorial on YouTube to figure that out.
With the DualSense, I hitting the PlayStation button one time. It made all this shit happen come up for Steam, and I was like big mode and shit like that. I was like, what the fuck you doing? I said, what the hell, man?
All right, and then some more Assassin's Creed Shadows. I haven't played a ton since the last time we recorded, but I didn't really talk about everything when we were talking about that. Just the general format of it, I think, is going to be a lot closer, based on what I'm seeing as far as the gameplay goes, a lot closer to like the ones that I gelled with, like Brotherhood and Revelations, those earlier ones. Because it's very much like, okay, this target is generally in this area. You're going to go to this area. You're going to find out. You're going to kind of do the scouting mission stuff where you're going to talk to people. You're going to find out more information about them. Then you can kind of stalk them and assassinate them and then run away, as opposed to like, okay, now I'm getting into this like boss battle with this guy. So I appreciate that. They're also doing this interesting thing that it feels like they're going to be more open, where there are basically like 12 bad guys. I think it's 12 that were involved in this big event in your life. As Noe, I think her name is. And you're going to go after them, and you can kind of go after them in whatever order you want. They point you in a general direction of like, you should probably do this one, it seems like, or at least like one of these three first. But generally it seems like it's going to be more open-ended. I definitely have gotten to a point where like I went into this, I want to say temple. I guess it's or shrine. That's the word. I went into this shrine and there was a bad guy there just like talking smack to everybody. And I was like, oh, excuse me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to kill this guy because like, screw him. He's a bad guy. I'm take him out for you guys. I restarted this probably 40 times because I was just like, I'm close enough to beating this guy that I'm pretty sure I can kill him. It's just going to take some effort on my part. And eventually I was like, okay, this is not going to happen. Because he's one of these guys where like he's so overpowered at this point that at the level I'm at, because they still have all the RPG like level numbers and stuff, I can't just assassinate him. Like I can't even do damage on him when I backstab him. He's got like a lieutenant with him who I can do like half his health if I get a jump attack on him. But I still can't like just finish him off dead to rights. Whereas this guy, I jump down on him from surprise and he just throws me off, and then we go into the combat. And the combat is good. It seems, very counter based like those earlier games were. You can be a little more aggressive, at least with Naue. It seems like with Yasuke, it's going to be even more aggressive. Like he seems like he's going to be more combat focused. If I ever get back to him. And I wonder if they do like the active switching like a Grand Theft Auto 5, or if it is going to be very like story based, and maybe that's some of the more reasonable people's argument against like why it doesn't really make sense for him to be in the game if he's just being treated as like a side character, whereas like he really should be like 50% of this game if the game is intended for him to be there. Otherwise, like do a cool DLC where it's like, okay, they did like the Freedom Call one with the pirate game. It's like make the whole game about him. So it's like, I'm not just like briefly jumping to his story at different points during the story. Like give me a solid chunk of gameplay for him. It seems weird.
Yeah.
And I hate to like mount that criticism because like that gives like some of the people like, whoa, why is he in the game? It's like, you and I are very different as to why we are complaining about why this man is here. It's not, let's not confuse this. So yeah, I'm still invested in this game. I think I was saying it before it came out. It seems like it's the most interesting that Assassin's Creed has been in a little while. Although I still want to say like Odyssey, or not Odyssey, I'm sorry, Origins, the Egyptian one, is one that I really do feel like I need to go back to at some point, because I really like that setting, and especially if they take the like mythological stuff like they did with the Vikings. It seemed like if they wrap all that like Egyptian god stuff into it, that seems like that would be a really cool experience. Yeah, so that's what I've been playing.
All right, so I guess we take a quick break. When we get back, we get to the flashback segment.
All right.
So now we're in the flashback segment. So we're doing the flashback segment from the 17th of March to the end of March. And because we didn't do a full podcast last week, and we didn't do a flashback segment. And we're going to do covers probably the next podcast, where we're going to combine the covers, the magazine covers that came out in March and the magazine covers that came out in April. So we'll just have those for next flashback segment, next podcast. So we're going to lead off with Battlefield Hardlines came out 10 years ago. Darn, it's only been 10 years.
It does feel like a different era of game.
Yeah. Battlefield Hardline. Now, this was after 4, which was like how, like, this was like, that was the first game that came on the new consoles, and so I think it still came on the other consoles too, though. But I think it's like online. You could only have a certain amount of players on there. But yeah. So Battlefield, like, this is like the first time it went away from like war, like, well, war in the traditional sense, but war in the streets. That's what it went to. It was like cops versus robbers kind of thing they went through here. But I didn't really play the online for Hardlines, but I did play the story mode. And I enjoyed the story mode of Hardlines. Now don't ask me what it was, because it's been so long and I don't remember. But I do remember enjoying it. Like, I thought it was a pretty okay, first person shooter story. And so when people were like down on it, now they could have been down on for overall. So like I said, I didn't play online, so I can't really judge that. And this is when I was kind of falling out on online games. Shooters anyway, so but as far as, I think I heard some people claim about a campaign, but I was like, man, this is better than the other. Well, I don't think anybody said the other ones were great, but it was better than other Battlefield ones.
It's probably one of the best Battlefield campaigns outside of the story focused Bad Companies.
Yes, it's outside of Bad Company. It's probably the better one, probably maybe the best one. I haven't played the latest ones, but I wouldn't be surprised. And I think and it was better than some of the Call of Duties I played campaigns. So yeah, it was fun. It was a fun thing, and it was like a change up for Battlefield. But they quickly went back to war. I think after this was World War One, right? Yeah, I think that's what it was. Battlefield 1. All right, so the next game we got here is Oceanhorn: Monsters of Uncharted Seas. Came out. So tell me about this game, Daniel.
Yeah, so this was the Zelda-like, went back to a traditional isometric view. It was a game that had a lot of promise, but needed a lot more to really be a game that I could easily recommend. Generally, it was all right, but it really at a discounted price kind of thing. Oceanhorn 2, they eventually did, but they went more into, like, instead of refining this, they kind of blew out and tried to go for the full, like, Wind Waker suite. And I never heard, like, many great things about that game. For a while, I think it was exclusive to, like, Apple Arcade, and I think it eventually did make its way to the PC and the consoles. But yeah, it's kind of disappointing to see the way that franchise went. They went from, like, trying to do something manageable to maybe being a little too ambitious instead of just improving and refining on what they had.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, they had a part 2, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
Is that like the last one? Did they have another one?
I don't think they've had one since then.
No. So they couldn't compete with Cat Quest then.
Ocean 3. No, they absolutely couldn't, which I think Cat Quest is probably a game that knows how to rein in its ambitions a little bit more. It's not to say it's a bad game. I just think they definitely went down the path of like refining what they were doing, or at least from the outside looking in. Because I don't think those review like awfully. I think they're generally, people just don't really care about them more than anything.
All right. So now we got a huge one that came out 10 years ago. It's been 10 years, Bloodborne, and we're still waiting for the remastered of Bloodborne, as they do remasters of these other games. But a game that's really dear to people's hearts. I mean, not me personally, but the game community. The one remaster that was like, oh yeah, bring this back out. But no, they're like, no, we're not. And we're not going to bring it to PC either. They say no. You can take another Last of Us. You can take a couple. You can have two Last of Us 2s.
No,
you can have those.
Not another Last of Us 2.
But yeah, man. Bloodborne. This was the guys did exclusive for PlayStation. The guys who did the Demon Souls and Demon or Dark Souls, Demon Souls games.
Demon Souls, Dark Souls, all of them. Elden Ring.
Yeah. I was trying to think of the title. I was trying to remember the title of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, yeah, and it looked like those games. I mean, it looked better because it was a new system when I saw it, but I had no interest in it whatsoever after I saw like videos. I was like, oh, it's still not like a story. It's a story where you have to go read these probably texts to put everything together. And I'm like, I don't mind text adding to the story. I like that, but if it's like a mystery, but it doesn't feel like it's a mystery. These things are mysteries. It's just whatever. The game is really you just being able to survive and kill these creatures, in this in a challenging way. Well, I see it as this: you try to win these fights in the most awkward way possible that they do. Like, I mean, goddamn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this was very big. You played more than I have of this game, so
yeah, Bloodborne clicked with me a little more than the other games, and I think part of that is because it is like, it seems like at least it wants you to be a little more aggressive about the way you approach combat situations. Like, I think there's like a parry system or something, or some kind of like, you regain your health if you like go back after the enemy in a certain way. But I still found myself falling into the trappings that I do with any of these games, where it's like, am I going in the wrong direction, or am I just not good at the game? And either way, if I can't figure that out, I'm not having fun, so I stop playing. And that's what happened with Bloodborne.
Yeah, the whole map thing, I know like people say like, oh, it's not about the maps and stuff like that. It's it's about the journey and going through. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you can still just not look at the map, but I want something to really help me, like to say like, hey, this is the right path. I don't care. You can make something up in game saying like, oh, the spirit of the right path will help you just get to the right path, or something like that. But yeah. So this was a huge release. What else we have here? We got Pillars of Eternity came out also 10 years ago. This is the game RPG, hardcore RPG done by Obsidian. And they recently they did Avowed, which is based off this world. So yeah, they created this world almost. Yeah, because so this is not like Dungeons and Dragon like lore. This is like their own lore, or is this still part of a Dungeons and Dragon lore in another realm or something? I don't. I always get confused with these things. Honestly, I didn't know some of these things were Dungeons and Dragons shit. Because at one point I think I thought Dragon Age was Dungeons and Dragons, and I was like, "Oh, that's just a Dungeons and Dragons thing," and I was like, "Oh no, it's not. It's its own story." And I just like, "Oh, whatever." They're all people like geeks and stuff loves it. So I was like, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's not much we can say because maybe we play it, but it was just worth mentioning because this is like Obsidian, like
Absolutely.
making a huge game,
Big title.
I mean, getting back, making a game that and it has its following because it got part two, and now yeah, and now this is like an offshoot from it. They got Evolved come out, so it's like they built their own world. Like game, like their own game. It's not just something them doing a sequel from someone else or anything. Well, technically, it did do that with what was that, Alpha Protocol? But yeah, that isn't turn out as well. That's one of those games I always said I was just going to try.
Protocol. Yeah, I think you would probably enjoy it.
I just never did. I never when I think I was going to do it one time when they went on live because they had that up there. I was like, oh, when I get on live, I'm going to do that, and I never did.
And then they killed it.
So what else we have? No, I think the big I said on live because I didn't have a PC, and I always heard the console versions weren't that great. I mean, the overall game wasn't great, but the PC version was better. And by the time I got a PC, I just never went to get it. All right, Axiom Verge came out 10 years ago. Man, Axiom Verge. So this is a game I know you played. So
yeah,
what is this game?
Axiom Verge is a complicated one because for the longest time I tried playing it. I tried playing it a couple of times, and it wasn't until the Switch where I finally beat it. Because I got pretty far, as it turns out, on the Vita, and it didn't click the way that I fully expected it to. It's a Metroidvania. It kind of harkens back specifically to early Metroid games, has like this weird kind of quirkiness about these glitches and stuff, and it didn't end up doing it for me. And when I beat it on the Switch, I found out that on the Vita version, I was maybe like 30 minutes away from having beaten that game. And for one reason or another, I had fallen off. I can't remember if I was stuck on a boss or whatever, but yeah. And then, 2 of that came out, and I didn't, sorry. And then 2 of that came out, and I didn't even really put that much time into it. So yeah, Axiom Verge is one of those well-revered games that just I thought would have been for me and ended up not being.
All right. So is that it for 2015? Yep.
That looks like
so.
it.
Yeah. So now we're going to. Well, that's part of that one. 2005, and I'm going to start off with 20 years ago. Lego Star Wars: The video game came out. This was before the final film of the George Lucas Star Wars, Episode 3, and then they made these games. It was based on the prequels, the Lego games, and I cannot wait to get this game because I just always thought it would look so cool to have these Lego guys doing Star Wars stuff, and I played the shit out of this game. And plus, it was a way for me to spoil myself for the movie to know what happens, just in Lego form.
Yeah,
and it kind of did, but but not really because they don't talk. And all I know is that Obi-Wan and him is going to fight, and so I forgot some other things they did in the game that like kind of I was looking for, Because the thing is, there was the movie game that came out too, though. The episode 3 movie game that came out weeks later. That came out days before the movie. I mean, the movie. But that sort of spoiled things. But actually, it added stuff that I thought was better. Because I thought he was going to fight Mace Windu. I was like, oh shit, they're about to fight. But they just cut his hands off. I was like, holy shit.
Throw him out a window.
I was just thinking like, is he going to grow hands and something when they go down the floor to fight? Because what the hell? That confused shit out of me. So, they just add that in the game. So they fooled me. They make Mace Windu have a badass ending. Well, it wasn't really badass because they still showed him getting thrown out a window, but at least he fought. But it's like, this one, nah. He just got both his hands cut off and just pushed up. What kind of shit is that? Like, that's the way you're going to kill off Mace Windu. Like, especially now that they had this series of, like, Clone Wars, all the stuff that Mace Windu has done, it's like, man, you're going to die like a bitch. Anakin's going to cut your fucking hands, or you're going to have no hands. You're going to be screaming, and then he's going to push you out the window, and you're going to die. I say, that's some fucked up shit. I mean, actually, no, he didn't die like a bitch, though. No, Anakin was a bitch, because he did it. Mace Windu didn't know what he was going to do. He didn't do it in his face. He sucker slashed him. He sucker slashed him. With his hands. Yeah. Anakin. All right. But yeah, but the Lego game, these is some of my favorite ones, because it's still one of my favorite ones because of the pantomime. I like that they didn't have voice acting, but they did it. They pantomime like what they do. It was funny.
Yeah,
I thought it was a creative way of doing that, and I kind of wish they would do that again. But they're like, no, we want to get voices down. So I'm under the pressure. Like, was it that you couldn't afford voices before? Is that what it is? And you always want to do voices, or you just like, this is a whole lot easier to just trying to be creative and do a whole lot of motion stuff and things. I don't know. I still like it without the voice acting. I thought that was always hilarious. What else came out? We got 20 years ago. We got Time Splitters Future Perfect came out. This is my favorite Time Splitters. Time Splitters was never a game I really was into, even though they were always described as like one of the best first-person shooter games on consoles. Mm-hmm. And gameplay-wise, they probably were. Just that I was like a guy who, like, I don't like. I always thought it was a story with first-person shooters. So, like, I heard the guys who did GoldenEye, the guys who did Perfect Dark. So I was like, okay, let me. I got this. I borrowed this game from Blockbuster, and like, it just started me playing. I was thinking like, oh, I must have hit story mode, and there was no story mode. So I was like, oh, is it like cutscenes in the movie? And it wasn't really. I think it's not really true cutscenes. It was like they cut something and then you see like a zombie or something. One time I was in the pyramids, but I didn't get it because I was like, I didn't really understand the controls, cause I'm not. It just felt different at the time. Like I wasn't really used to those type of first person controls. Really, because I didn't actually that was probably the first one I ever played on a PlayStation. I don't think I ever played a first person shooter on the PlayStation 1. I think, the PlayStation 2 was probably the first one, because I'm trying to think. Yeah, all the games I played were third-person action games. There weren't really no good... I mean, because I didn't play Medal of Honor. I didn't play Medal of Honor yet, and on the PlayStation. So, I can't even get into it. But Time Splitters Future Perfect is when they actually had, like, a true story. And, like, you have a guy, like, you go through the past and stuff. And it was pretty cool. Like, you see yourself, like, come through from the future or something, and then you'll go through that same instance later in the game, and it's like, oh yeah, that's when I had to help. That's why I got this thing, because I had to do this. Like the whole, I mean, now games you see do it a lot, or like TV shows and movies is something that happens. But I always like that trope of like time travel, of like seeing someone, like seeing like someone from the future do something, or you go in the past and you're helping, and then it kind of goes, as you go through the story, you'll see why things happen, and it's fun. It was a fun game. Like I really enjoyed Time Splitters. I never played the multiplayer in it, so I don't know how that was, but I'm kind of upset that it just that was it. That was the end of the series. Like I was kind of hoping like they build upon that. It's like yeah, now I can do games, but they went away. And the closest thing I got to anything like this was the Titanfall 2 story, and I like that with that whole that stage where they kind of warped and stuff like that. Or I'm trying to think of another game. I mean, you got Portal stuff from Half-Life. I'm trying to think of another game that had like time travel that kind of was like a first-person shooter. I feel like I played something. Oh, the Raven soft game. What's it called? The game we played like
the
after
Soviet
COVID.
Union one.
Yeah. Shit, what was it called? Oh my god.
Singularity.
Yeah, Singularity. Yeah, Singularity was that was probably the closest thing to that. All right, so what else we have here? We got. I'll skip that one for now because I want to save that for last. That's probably the biggest one. Metal Gear Acid came out. Oh yes, the PSP came out. That's probably the biggest release.
Yeah.
20 years ago, the PSP, the first Sony handheld game. Unless you want to count some of those digital pet stuff, I don't know. But yes, this was huge. This was like the thing to go against the DS, go against the Nintendo handheld. Nintendo has been king. Nothing has touched Nintendo. N-Gage was close. They were very close, but they couldn't do it, Daniel. But yes, Metal Gear Acid, this was huge. It's like, oh, they got a Metal Gear game launched, but it was this a card game?
It was sort of, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't
Like
a card game, but you use
your
card
actions were on cards, I believe.
which is now has be like that was kind of new to me then. Now I see so many games like this that do this. And which they're good. Like I didn't like it at the time when I tried out Metal Gear Acid. I didn't try out Metal Gear Acid until a whole lot later when they had the whole Metal Gear bundle and was on Xbox. But when I read about it, and the reviews weren't like top notch Metal Gear reviews. Like they were, I think it was like the Game Informer. I forgot what they gave it. Either a low 8 or a high 7 maybe. So I wasn't really like mad, like, oh, the PSP got this Metal Gear game, and it was like a card stuff. I was like, I don't care about that. But this was big. Like, if you gotta get a PSP, Metal Gear up there, something with Metal Gear. I think it was done by Kojima, so it was like, shucks, man, that was awesome. I mean, yeah, the PSP was a good machine. It was cool, like to see like that quality of graphics, almost PlayStation-esque, in your handheld, and it had that sharp, nice screen at the time, and it was looked really cool. So yeah, they had Luminous came out. That was a pretty popular game, like puzzle game. What else came out, Dan?
Twisted Metal Head On.
Was Wipeout Pure?
Was also a pretty big one for the PSP launch.
Yeah, they got the Metal. Yeah, Twisted Metal came out. A Ridge Racer game, of course. That those were the days Ridge Racer used to be the launch game.
Every launch,
yeah. Now I don't know what's going on with Namco. Well, they're making that Dark
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man, yeah. And they had a Darkstalkers game come on PSP for launch. Darkstalkers Chronicles: The Chaos Tower. Yeah. Get to see some cat boobies and little devil boobies and stuff like that. All right. So the big game, another big huge game for PlayStation. So PlayStation, they were having a busy month in March. Launch PSP and a launch of their probably the best third-person action game. Some people would say ever. Definitely on the PlayStation 2. And I mean, this is just days after Devil May Cry came out, and then the U.S. said, "We got something for you. Like, take this, Japan." And they, the
Weird
guy,
way to talk about Dragon Ball Z sagas, Dominic, but okay.
like the guy who made Twisted Metal,
I was gonna say,
made
speaking of Twisted Metal,
God of War, and man, this game was awesome. Like, I read the magazine, I read how good it was, but like I had just played Devil May Cry. I was like, man, that's the best action game. It's like, wow, they saying this game is good. I ended up getting it later. I know it wasn't like I waited till it was $20. But I think I might have paid full price for it maybe, or unless I did a trade in. But yeah, because I have the original case, and yeah, man, after playing this game, oh my god! Like I was telling my friend was like, "Oh, so how is it compared to Devil May Cry?" You always kept talking about. I said, "Man, this might be better." I said, "This might be better," and man, was that game good. It looked good, and I didn't even have progressive scan then. I still had all the jagginess. So like I didn't know what the hell that shit was. I remember reading about progressive scan, but I never really read it too deeply. I say something to hook TV looks something better.
I remember
okay,
getting the cables for the PS2, and I think at that point I had already gotten them for the GameCube, much earlier. But
yeah,
I remember getting not the PS2. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, the PS2.
Yes.
And
the PS2, because
looking at specifically God of War and being like, holy crap, like it's so much clearer.
Because I think my old PS2 was kind of going wonky. I got the Slim, and then I got those cables, and because I had HDTV, I say, hey, I finally got HDTV, so I'm gonna hook them up here. Even I didn't know you can. I could have hooked up to a regular CRT TV, right? Some of them. I think some of you could.
Yeah, some of them had.
Yeah, some of you could.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's what it was. I thought I didn't have a TV. Well, actually, I probably didn't. Yeah, I probably originally didn't have a TV that could do that, could use those cables. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't. Yeah, because I didn't have a TV. My TV, I still was using a VCR to hook my shit up. So, yeah, so it was when I got that HDTV from Target, and that's when I got those cables. My PlayStation 2, I saw the difference between like Ratchet and Clank. Then when I put in God of War, I said, "Oh my God! Say, look how clear all this shit is." I just played the game all over again. But yeah, but God of War, man, like the graphics were good. Like it was running almost, I don't know, it was running at 60, but it was close because it was smooth. Yeah, man, and like the fight, like it wasn't just button smash you, man, unless you put on easy mode. But like, yeah, like it was. I love the finishers. And I love the story, man. It's like this guy was just going hard. He was like, "Fuck the world," and just go and just kill everybody. Like, yeah, man, it was just badass. And then I realized, like, oh, the guy from 11 Single was talking for him. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, man, it was that game was great. Like that first game was great. 2 was a bigger game. I think my friend actually beat it before I did. He had it, and it was longer. Did I like it more than 1? Maybe. I think I liked 2 more than 1. I think it's like, yeah, it was an improvement on 1. It was an improvement on 1. It was really good. 3 was just too much. I just felt like, man, you're too angry. I'll say this anger, gotta let it go. Gotta let it go. I was saying let it go before Frozen down,
man.
Before
Frozen,
they stole it because somehow they heard me and they stole it from me. They did.
Just imagine one of the songwriters being at your back window, like passing by, and you're just like, "Let it go! You've got to let it go!" And they're like, "That sounds catchy."
But yes, the God of War, like one of the best PlayStation games, and it came so late on PlayStation 2. Like it was just a 1 year. It'll be PlayStation 3 will come out. Yeah, it's 2005. So PlayStation came out 06, right? Yeah, because 05 was Xbox. 05 was Xbox. 06 was Wii and PlayStation 3. So yeah, it came out like so. It took advantage. Like it took advantage of the PlayStation 2, like everything it could.
Yeah, it really was.
So that That game is awesome. And there's an argument. There's some people who say like the current one is better than this one, but I don't know. But because now that I'm seeing like how streamlined it is, the current one, it is great. I mean, I love the current one, but just the freedom of I don't know the fight. It's just different. They're different, and it's yeah. Because I like the fights of the current one too. It's just done differently. I can see why on both. Like there's arguments for both for what you like. And some people just like angry people, you know. So I put Star Wars twice. That's why that's up there. I didn't take it off. Another huge one came out 20 years ago. This wasn't Wikipedia. It's just that I didn't scan it. I cut it off by accident. Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Yeah. The last Splinter Cell for that generation of gaming. For the Xbox and PlayStation and GameCube. How'd you like this one?
I think this was kind of the return to form, if I recall correctly. I don't specifically remember my time with it. I almost want to say that this was at a point where my PC wasn't able to keep up, so I didn't actually spend too much time with this one. But this was following Pandora Tomorrow, which I think people thought was kind of a down point in the series, but I still liked Pandora Tomorrow, and I'd have to watch some videos of this one to see if I did in fact beat this. I want to say I did, because I think all of those, that generation Splinter Cell games I played to completion. It wasn't until we got into like the 360 era and the like double agents and the whatnots that I didn't really play much of them, because they seemed like they kind of fell off.
All right. So, I haven't really played. I think the only one I played was the first one. I didn't beat it, but yeah, that was only one because I was still a Metal Gear guy at the time. It's like Chaos Theory came out, so who cares? Metal Gear Snake, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake came out. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So, so that's it for the flashback segment. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to the gaming news.
All right.
And we're back. Let's get to the gaming news. What we got, Dan?
All right, first up, Dominic, Ubisoft launches a subsidiary focused on making Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy games thanks to the help of 1.16 billion euros, courtesy of Tencent. We've been talking a while about their struggles financially and the potential for them to maybe get bought out or partner up with somebody. This is interesting because it feels like almost just like Ubisoft finding a way to shift money around, because like now if this subsidiary is responsible for Assassin's Creed and their big franchises, right, like most of the development costs would be associated with that specific entity, whereas like maybe Ubisoft can continue making Just Dance games, and it looks like Ubisoft's profits are like higher. I don't know. This all just feels like kind of business rigmarole that like they're trying to do some funky stuff to make it look like they're making money, and they're not necessarily going to be making any more money than they already were. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it probably does, because I'm looking at the game at the same time. So, but yeah, I was. Let me see. Okay, well, I didn't see me. I saw like something. I didn't click on it.
Yeah,
to see what this was all about.
It's basically a means for them to like take money from Tencent while also like not giving Tencent a majority stake in their company.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, so this is the kind of hold off. All right.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Dominic, Game Informer is officially back. We talked last week about the teasing that was coming, and it's kind of crazy. They are just fully back. They're back with the full staff that they had before everybody was fired. They in fact brought the website back with brand new content, including reviews for all of the games that have released since they were gone. Game of the year from last year. Yeah, it sounds like a different company bought the IP essentially from GameStop, so they are no longer under the GameStop banner, and they were just returning to work full-fledged. They're going to be coming out with a magazine eventually. They're basically saying, sign up for our newsletter right now to be able to get an opportunity to, sign up for when the magazine is going to come out again. If you have a Game Informer account or you make a Game Informer account, you can actually have access to the archives of their online magazines. So you can just go back and read old Game Informers. At
really?
no additional cost right now. Yeah, I had to get them to reset my password because I didn't even realize that I had a Game Informer account.
Like how much it costs?
Free. It as of
this
right
is
now
free?
it's free.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this isn't even subscribing to,
So I could have threw all
their
those
new
magazines away, Daniel. I made you carry that heavy bag in there.
There's nothing like print, Dominic, and eventually you're going to run out of toilet paper like the rest of us. So, But it seems like a pretty positive thing in general.
I was saying that when I live out the streets or something like that, when I'm like poor or something, I'm gonna be a guy with like a whole bunch of Game Informers around me, or something like that.
This is what nerds look back in our day. All right, then, Dominic. And the last thing we got here, this was kind of the big news of the week. Nintendo dropped a somewhat surprise. There were a lot of rumors floating around. Nintendo Direct for the Switch 1 specifically, less than a week away from their big Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. They had this Switch 1 Nintendo Direct. And they had a couple of things. There weren't nothing like mind blowing. So we'll just go down the list here real quick. Patapon 1 and 2 replay remasters are coming out July 11th, 2025. So getting some Sony love via, I want to say, Namco or Bandai, or those are the same company, so it could be both. Sony's name wasn't actually in this stuff at all. Yeah, it's Bandai Namco that's publishing. Sony's name wasn't actually on this stuff, but it is, it's Patapon. We were just talking about the Vita, or not the Vita, the PSP.
Yeah. So I guess it was Sony never either owned it or they bought it. I don't know.
They do, but maybe they're just like, they didn't want to do the work, so Bandai Namco's like taking over to do some of the work for them to get it over to. That's the only thing I could think. Because these were, at one point Sony properties, as well as Everybody's Golf Hot Shots, which is Hot Shots Golf. Now that they call that franchise Everybody's Golf, that's coming to the Switch 1 as well. It's kind of crazy. Patapon 1 and 2 is also coming to Steam. I would imagine Everybody's Golf is as well. So seeing Sony franchises in addition to, the previously received Microsoft franchises on the Switch, we're seeing everything now, Dominic. We're seeing everything.
Yeah.
Speaking of seeing everything, Dominic, it seems to be a new AI, the Somnium Files game coming out July 25th.
I saw that, but I didn't see like the video of it or anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, No Sleep for Kaname Date.
Very Japanese title right there.
That is a very Japanese title. Speaking of Japanese titles, you also have Raidu Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army. This appears to be like, I don't know if it's a spin-off, but it's, why am I blanking on what's the Shin Megami Tensei games? One of those.
It is.
This one appears to be more action focused. Is it Shin Megami Tensei or is it the other one that I'm not Persona, obviously, but is there another franchise that I'm trying to think of? What about Altair?
I'm trying to think about. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I'm trying to think about the Japanese franchises because Altair, I know that's a role playing franchise.
Gotcha.
Altair something, whatever.
Devil Summoner is what I'm trying to.
Devil
think
Summoner,
of.
yes.
Yeah,
but that, I think that is all part.
But
of
that is tied to Shin
guys.
Megami Tensei, right?
Yeah.
Because there's Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner. Yeah. But yeah, apparently this is like that, but it's more action focused. So, if you're interested in that world and some of that. Next up, The Eternal Life of Goldman, Dominic. This is coming out winter 2026.
Oh, The Eternal Life of Goldman Sachs. All right.
You play as an old man with a cane and it's very, very nice hand-drawn animation and you're kind of bouncing on your cane like you Scrooge McDuck. This looks like a very good game, Dominic.
Oh, it could be Goldman Sachs then.
It could be Goldman Sachs, yes. He looks like a very old, possibly Jewish fellow.
No, wait a minute. Isn't that two names? I have no idea, honestly.
Well, yeah, Goldman and Sachs are two different names, I believe.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, Goldman and Sachs.
So,
yeah,
this is the son of Goldman and Sachs.
What is Sachs? What kind of name is that?
I have no idea.
No.
No idea at all. Next up, Witchbrook, Dominic. We're finally hearing about it. It's supposed to come out this year during the holiday season.
Yes, it's about that time, man. Good God, I've been talking about the game forever. Like, Jesus. Like, I've been like when I saw that, it's like, oh, it looked like Stardew, but it's like Harry Potter world and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, that's where Harry Potter world had no controversy then, Daniel. The most controversial was like people saying, "Oh, they got a home run, son of a bitch."
Oh man.
But the Harry Potter, look at it. They saying, "No, we're not a state. We're never going to be a state." So,
we're fighting a proxy war right now.
But damn, I was about to
we
say.
should stop letting them play MLB games in Canada, Dominic.
Damn, what were we talking about?
We were talking about Witchbrook.
Witchbrook, yes. Yeah, because this is before there was the only controversy with freaking Harry Potter was like people who are religious talk about riches, saying like, oh, riches, this the devil's work and stuff like that. That was the most controversy you had. God, I wish it was back to that. Like, darn. But no. I mean, this is cool. Witchbrook.
At least it finally has a release window.
Yeah, and I hope it turns out to be really good, man.
Yeah,
I hope it turns out to be really good.
Definitely. All right, next up, Dominic. This was a surprise. Marvel Cosmic Invasion. This is a 2D beat 'em up from the same team as Shredder's Revenge. It looks awesome. You can play as Spider-Man or Wolverine or Captain America or Nova.
I thought it was
Captain
based off an
Marvel
old
too.
game or something, the way it looked. Because I was like,
brand new.
This is a game I just never heard of?
And the art style looks very reminiscent of like a Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So like,
yes,
looks beautiful. Very excited about this game. Next up was Rhythm Paradise Groove, a new Rhythm Heaven game coming from Nintendo in 2026, Dominic. They talked about 2026 video games coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, come on.
6 days before the announcement of the official debut of the Switch 2. We live in a wild timeline. Yeah, those games are pretty good. They're basically the off-brand WarioWare. They came before WarioWare, but they do basically the same mini game style
I thought
thing.
that was a rhythm game, Daniel. I could have sworn
it is a rhythm game, but it's in the vein of a WarioWare, which is also in effect sort of a rhythm game. No, it definitely relies heavily on the music aspect of things, but it's not like a Guitar Hero necessarily. Another 2026 video game, Dominic, that they actually did as their like one last thing. Tamagotchi Life, Living in the Dream. Tamagotchi Life is back. I don't know that any of us needed it, but the Miis have returned.
Tamagotchi, what the hell?
Yeah. You know, we can't get an Animal Crossing, but they're going to give us Tamagotchi Life, I guess.
Yeah.
They also showed off Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Samus has some like Jedi powers. And we still got no release date. So I can only hope that this game shows up again at the Switch 2 thing and basically says, hey, we didn't give you the release date because it's the same day as the Switch 2. So therefore we didn't want to tip our hand early, I guess. It looks good. That's all I can really say. I'm interested to see if what they have been showing off is in fact Switch 1 footage or if it is Switch 2 footage. Or if there's some like happy between, like this is dev kit stuff. I don't know, but it's looked pretty good. Metroid Prime 1 Remastered looked fantastic on the Switch. So this game running smoothly on a Switch 2 will hopefully be an improvement. They drug Miyamoto out here to not announce a game, but instead
like they drugged him.
They drugged him out here. They drugged him up, sent him out there. They gave him all the mushrooms from the Toadstool Kingdom. They announced a news app, Dominic. Basically, there is a Nintendo exclusive news app that you can now download to your phone to check out new Nintendo news. Like yesterday, their big exclusive was the Zelda Live movie is coming out in 2026.
That is so we need another app.
I've seen a lot of people speculate that basically Elon Musk scared them into creating their own app because when they're posting on Twitter, they might find their news articles very close to some questionable ads or material or things of that nature. Did I get you back, Dominic?
Are you still here?
Stupid internet. What's going on?
I know my mic didn't die on me because it didn't make a beeping noise.
Come on, Skype. What are we doing? Come on.
Hello.
I didn't lose the internet. What is going on here? Come on. Reconnect then. Hey, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. It did that reconnecting thing again. But like I didn't lose internet, so I don't know. Anyway, yeah, basically the idea is that, Nintendo has seen their information pop up next to some questionable posts or ads on Elon's platform, and maybe they were like, we don't want that. We can control the narrative by, having our own app, so therefore we're going to have our own app. So, yeah. I have not downloaded this thing. I figure.
Oh.
Did you lose me again?
No, I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
Yeah, basically, I didn't download this app. I figure anything that gets posted in that app worth anything will immediately cycle around the internet in the places that I still exist. So I have not made that plunge, and I don't think I will. It seems so unnecessary, Dominic. It's a very Nintendo move.
And
just make a Blue Sky account and move on.
If Elon, yeah, exactly. If Elon can scare them, I want Elon to scare them to make their either put their games out on PC or to make discounts for their games after they've been out so long.
I want him to scare them into making players hits again or whatever.
Yeah.
Player's choice. I want everybody. Can we scare everybody into making player's choice and greatest hits and platinum games or whatever the is?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
like they don't. The games can't just go on sale and go back up to $60.
Exactly. They should have a ceiling. You should have a ceiling after you've sold a certain number. This is your new ceiling. You can't go any higher than that. All right, Dominic. And the last thing is they have also shown off a new like friends and family sharing virtual cartridge is what they're calling it, which will allow you to manage your games across several different Switch systems, which makes a lot of sense because even people that aren't like super into I own multiple Switches, like some people on the internet, there is a future very soon where I myself could find myself having two Switches. One would be a Switch 2 and one would be a regular Switch. But those effectively will be, similar things. Now, it seems to be very Nintendo complicated, right? So they're like, you can share out your things to your family members if you have the online family sharing thing, but you have to be like in proximity when you do it. And like, I get that, but also the way I want to use it is not that way. So like, come on, be a little more flexible, be a little more Steam-like in your usability here. Because at the end of the day, it's not like I'm going online and sharing these things with strangers. I'm sharing my games with you, or I'm sharing my games with another friend where in the past, I would have just had that disc or that cartridge, and when I was done playing with it, I would have let one of you guys, hold it anyway.
And they can still do the 2 week check thing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. You can still do the like, hey, because that's even better. It's like, hey, I don't even have to worry about, are you going to return my game or not? It's just going to come back to me eventually. I also wonder if you can do like with that 2 week thing, can I just recall it at any point in time if I'm like, hey, I want to play my game right now?
Or I don't like this guy. Anymore.
Or we're not friends anymore. I need to know, my daughter getting to the age where she's going to school. Like, I can't let her be willy-nilly virtual cart sharing with kids that aren't going to return her stuff. Yeah, it seems like the old system will still be in place where you have like your dominant home Switch and then you can log in from your other Switch to play those games. So at least there's that. As long as they're not taking away functionality, I think this can be okay. But because they kind of needlessly complicated it feels like maybe this isn't the improvement that we were hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, it's close, but nah, man. I'm tired of these antiquated or this awkward freaking stuff that Nintendo does. I'm tired of it, man.
Yeah.
I need somebody to go in there and be like, yo, stop being weird. Like, just stop it.
Yeah.
Like, just stop it. It's smacking. Let's just stop it.
All right, Dominic, let's see. That is it for the news. Anything else that you wanted to talk about or solve before we get into new releases?
Nah, I'm good.
All right, new releases. Rift of the Necrodancer came out on the Switch. That was actually part of the Nintendo Direct, but it's here, so I didn't feel like we needed to mention it there. We had previously talked about that when it came out on PC. It's kind of like Crypt of the Necrodancer meets Guitar Hero. Seems kind of cool. And then we also have the first Berserker Kazan, now out on PC, PS5, and Xbox.
That was a game we was looking at. It's like running like, is this going to be like Devil May Cry, or is it going to be like Dark Souls?
Yeah.
And I heard it's like Dark Souls. So I was like, it's a Souls-like. I say, fuck you. But the reviews, I only looked at one review. That was GameSpot, and I think it was either 7 or something. It wasn't super high or anything.
Okay. Yeah, let's see.
So I don't know
IGN has
how
it
it is.
at a... it's not going to show me. I don't know why it's blank. They're like, you're blocking my ads. I can't.
Orioles got bases loaded. They're only down by 1
not
now.
blocking
They were
their
down by 2.
ads because this is in Chrome. It's got an 80 at PC Gamer. Rock, paper, shotgun. I really would have thought that Metacritic would have just showed up.
Yes!
Look at Open Critic. Oh, yeah? What happened there?
The game is 5-4 Orioles.
Oh,
now.
wow. Okay.
They had bases loaded. Oh, 6-4. I'm sorry. Oh, no, everybody cleared. Everybody left the bases.
Nice.
Only I hit the double. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like GameSpot gave it an 8 out of 10. IGN Italy gave it a 7.5. Where's regular IGN? Why would you not just have the things that matter up at the top? Anyway, on Open Critic currently, it has a 79 percentile, 75% score. So,
okay. I mean, that's good. That's
pretty
good.
decent.
Man.
Yeah.
I just wish it wasn't a Souls like.
Exactly.
I wish it was just more action.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Dominic, with that, then I think we'll close this podcast out. Anything else for the people before we do that?
No, I'm good, man.
All right, go O's. You gotta ooze. Dominic, you can check him out on Twitter. Dominic is at DStarworth5. I'm at Regulus MB. The podcast is at Superpod, SUPAPOD. Blue Sky at superpod.com, at regulusmb.sky.social, and at DinoMans at DominicStallworth.bluesky.social. You can also check out the website, superpod.com is the place where you can find all of our previous podcasts, as well as links to all the places you can find us, including YouTube, where there's a video version of this podcast, as well as iTunes, YouTube Music, Spotify, and Amazon or Audible. And until next time, guys, we'll talk to you later.
All right, see you.